Hey there, crafty friends. Suzanne here in the studio today. Happy World Card Making Day to everybody out there. I realize I'm probably not at the very top of very many people's list of videos to look at, so hopefully sometime in the coming weeks or days you will be able to see all of these cards I'm showing you. I'm going to show you 6 different sheet loads all in one video just so you can really get a good fix of card making. Let's get started, shall we? Well, the very first one I am doing is from Call Me Crafty Al's Sheetload of Cards from December 2022. And this one is a little more complicated in that she actually gives you some extra third page of directions here so that you can get this diagonal pieces to line up really well. This is a good time to remind you, and I had kind of forgotten this, but I noticed it on another sheet load, is that this is at 100%. So if you ever need help placing things like she has, you can actually come and lay your card right down on top of what she has. Voila. Okay, so here is my first one. I was able to make from 2 12 by 12 pattern papers. These are Lovely Moments from Pebbles, I believe. Let me give you a good close-up of that. And this is just the reverse side of this paper. So, and then for my cardstock, I used some soft seafoam, I believe it is. I thought that went nicely with the brown. This A Simple Thing sentiment is from a Close to My Heart Craft with Heart card making set from days of old. I know I've said that time and time again, but those were such good sentiment sets that I used them over and over again. Okay, so my embellishments here, this is actually from Park Lane Papery. I had a little embellishment pack of foam flower stickers, so I made those work. And I got 8 cards in total. Here, as you can see, I'm using some old Queen & Company flower sequins with brads through the middle of them to match up with my flower color. Blue one really pops, doesn't it? Since we have all different colors in my pattern paper, I was able to use all different colors, and it turned out I had just 8 of these in that embellishment pack that were the right size for using. So there you have it. There is the first sheet load of cards. Let's move on, shall we? Okay, next up is November. This one is a fun cut. You've got sort of an open space on the front of the card. On this one, my only tip here, well, a couple of tips actually. First of all, I used a heavier cardstock. I used cover weight 110-pound cardstock for this because I wanted it to feel like it was really stable. And then the other thing I'll show you as I put these out, let me show you the first one. Here we have it, and this pretty. Here I've used a couple of more sheets from my 100 paper pattern stack. These two are opposites of each other, and they are, I can't remember who they're by. And then this one is maybe Doodlebug. This one is from Graphic 45, and it just happens to be the back. As you can see, this opens up like this. My Starburst circle is here. It's a punch made by Stampin' Up from my stash. And then I added a couple of enamel dots and a little cork flower that I also punched using a smaller Stampin' Up stamp. So the other tip is when you're trying to put these pieces down, normally you'd already have this much of the card. So instead of trying to put the piece down on a partial front piece when you've got the back and back of it and you're looking at white on white, I found it easier to make sure I open up the card and then I can see this particular section more clearly rather than if there had been white here and it'd be a little harder to line up the edges. So I got quite a few of these. I moved the various patterns around. I should have been able to get 18, but I think I only got 17 because I did make one cutting error. You know how when you think you're almost done and then you mess up? Here is another version where I've moved different papers around. Got 4 of these. And then here's my favorite version, I think. I did try a version with this here, and I didn't like it at all. So I didn't make any more of those. There's no reason to make some of everything just to say you did it, rather than ending up with cards you like. So again, isn't that pretty? And it all feels very sturdy because it's nice 110-pound card weight. Okay. Let's move on again, shall we? This is a special edition mini slimline tent topper card. I wasn't really sure I was going to like these, but they turned out pretty cute in the end. I used some more of my 100 pieces of pattern paper in a 12 by 12 size, and this bright colorful print with the daisies on one side and the lightning bolts on the other. I only did 10 of these cards, even though it calls for 12, because my mini slimline envelopes come in a pack of 10. So no need to make cards if I don't have enough envelopes for them. Not in the market for adding any more envelopes until I used up a lot more of my standard sizes. And then here we have the flip version where the daisies are, let me overlap these a little bit. And again, the Queen and Company buttons, and then a couple of enamel dots. Cute, don't you think? Okay, moving on. This was a super quick and easy one, August of 2022's. Here I just had a single piece of Doodlebug 12 by 12 paper. It calls for 3 sheets of 12 by 12 to make 12 cards. I just used the one piece, and then since it only had 2 patterns, front and back, I went to my scraps to be able to get this. So here I only got 4 cards out of that single piece of paper, but they turned out cute. Look at this. Isn't that fun? Very cute. For embellishments, I have the stamp here is an old Stampin' Up! Stamp from my stash, and then these are really old little sparkle glitter gems. I used 2 different pieces of cardstock here. This is the Basil Cherry Splash, you know I like so much, and then this is a Stampin' Up! Petal Pink, I believe. So this gets me started on my Christmas cards for this year, but I gotta kick it in gear because I usually send out about 75 homemade cards. All right, ready to move along again? Now we are up to June of 2022. Check this out. This is a fancy fold card here. It's a double card fun fold. And here is mine. Do you recognize, again, this is Doodlebug. I'd had pulled this piece of little elephant paper for baby cards when I did my 100 sheets, and I knew that's what I would end up using it for. So this and this are on the same sheet of paper on opposite sides, and then from my stash I pulled out another piece of Doodlebug in the orange. So very cute, don't you think? So I was able to get 6 of those, I believe. This Welcome Little One sentiment, again, is close to my heart card kit. And then here I've used some Doodlebug hearts and flowers, and then some regular enamel dots from my stash, picking up the 2 colors. And there you have it. Very cute. Those were very fun to put together. This one again is a mini slimline card. This is from April of 2022. This calls for 4 6x6 pattern papers, and what I ended up using is some of the Lawn Fawn Sweater Weather Remix that I had used in a previous video. I still had one group of papers left for that I could use for this. So here we go. Let's see how these turned out. You are in my thoughts. Of course, I don't have to tell you where the sentiment came from. You've heard that many times. Close to my heart. And then the little apple and the little leaf were from a very old K & Company set I had that had just like 12 little icons in it. So I used those, and then I just used, close to my heart, Bitty Sparkles as my embellishment there. Aren't those cute? We've got the different variations based on the different papers in the pad. So a close-up of these 2 patterns. I thought these turned out very cute. I pulled out a little bit of yellow from my stash to be able to use those on a couple. As you can see, sometimes I did the leaves in green and sometimes I did them in yellow. So there, that is a lot of cards. Okay, there you see my 6 completed cards. I thought it might be fun to do a little giveaway as well. If I get at least 10, there have to be 10 comments made on this video in the next 2 weeks. And if I get 10 comments made, I will choose one of the lucky commenters at random and send them the rest of the Sweater Weather Remix paper pack. There are still 2 each of 12 different designs of the Sweater Weather Remix paper, plus this K & Company stamp set that has the cutest little apple that looks a lot like that one. All right, as always, I appreciate your time and attention. Bye for a bit.